All right, Robin, anything else?
Yeah, just I sent you a message a while ago when you had the creeping crud or whatever it was.
Yeah.
You had. I sent you a message, I don't know if you got it, about a tonic that I have on my website. And tonic sounds kind of weird, but it's actually just natural things like ginger, horseradish, onions, garlic, cayenne that you mix together and with cider vinegar, and you make like a tonic and strain it, and then you take it every day, and it helps build your immune system. And it's on recipes on my website, and I just wondered if you got that message.
You know what? It's been so nuts. I got to say, Robin, no.
Okay.
All right. Do me a favor, resend it to johnstatmiller@hotmail.com, and now that you've called in and reminded me, I'll look at my emails before I go nighty-night.
Okay, I will. It's all right. It's under rest.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you very much.
Thank you, Robin. Appreciate it. I'm looking at this clip. Inside of 6 minutes, this guy pretty much lays out the whole thing. Bob, much of what you have spoken about and written about in the International Forecaster, what Robbie and I have been talking about ad nauseum. I knew this was a big deal coming on the pike, and almost to the exclusion of all else. I have centered this stuff around the finance, not for business sake, but to alert people and try to make them understand what is going on inside this country. And I am glad that I did, because this is the globalist, this is the globalist idea of nirvana, that we have common currency, that we have an international structure, and you know what? They have got the mitigated gall to say that it's to protect the individual, because we don't want to see happen again what just happened. Irresponsible people not doing proper reporting and, selling too much of stuff that they don't really own. And, yeah, they're going to do this for our benefit. And, ladies and gentlemen, I will say this till I'm dead in the grave. In this country, we want this country back. There is one immediate step that must be taken, and that is the charter with the Federal Reserve has to be pulled, period. We cannot suffer these fools, and they're not foolish, they're very crafty. We cannot suffer these people not 1 minute longer, not 1 second longer. But who was the only guy up in Washington, D.C.? I guess I was listening to Ron Paul. He was at a conference, the Independent, I don't know, whatever it was, some group of people, and he was talking about the banking again. And, folks, this is the plain on, as the nose on your face. They don't know what to do. A lot of these politicians in Washington, D.C., a lot of them, gentlemen, it's not this conspiracy across the board. Every one of these 535 critters that we have in Congress assembled is in on the deal. Many of them are. Many of them have pushed, and are members of the Bilderbergs or CFR or some organization to meld us into a global type society, for banking and business and all those other necessary things. But the other ones are just cold but stupid and just went along to get along. They had no other answers. And that's really the problem. When you ask a politician in Washington, D.C., and he can't even give you a political answer, you know you have a problem. So what do? Well, they vote for the bailout package. Congratulations. John in California. Hello, John.
Hey, how you doing there, John? Good afternoon to you, Bob Chapman, and Robbie Noel. I just had a quick question for Bob Chapman, and I was hoping to get Bob to talk a little bit about a comment he made sometime in the last 3 weeks. I can't remember which show it was on. It may have been on your show, John, but it may have been on one of the other shows. And this had to do with Bob saying that he helped out Gary Allen with the publication and or distribution of his call it conspiracy.
Right.
Could you, Bob, discuss a little bit about what it is you did? I didn't see your name on the, in the front of the book or anything. Although I tell you what bothered me a little bit is, and that was going to be my next question, was who was this guy Larry Abraham? And do you know? Can you tell me anything about this guy? I guess he's still, or at least the 5 or 6 years, as a guest on one of the local talk shows out here in Southern California. Pretty much repudiated everything that Gary Allen said in his book, and I was kind of beside myself listening to it because here he probably made his name on in the early 70s on he got some accord or acclamation based on getting his name on the cover of None Dare Call It Conspiracy, and now that Gary Allen's dead, now he's coming along and saying that it was all hyped and exaggeration and all this type of thing. Mm. Do you know anything about that, Bob?
I know all the players very well.
I thought you would.
And my part was I helped Gary with ideas in the public of the book, a very, very small part, okay. and distribution to an extent. But Gary and I became close friends during, and I knew him in 1964. We became close friends in the 1970s, and we became partners. And the reason why we became partners is interesting. He had a report, I forget the name of it, in Larry Abraham. Uh-huh. And he told me he wanted to terminate his relationship with Larry Abraham because he called him an evil genius. And so I said, well, if that's what you want to do, let's start the Gary Allen report, and I'll write about the financial and economic end of it, and you write about politics and social issues. Uh-huh. And so it was a nice marriage. And we had about 40,000 subscribers, and I guess we had it for about 6 years, and Gary died. And he had... I can't think of it right now, but anyway, Larry Abraham was a very, very strange man. I've heard that he's deceased now.
Oh, okay. This was 5 or 6 years ago, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know how true it is. And Larry was a Birch coordinator in, I think, the Washington State area, and he wanted to do bigger and better things. And if there was a deal to be made, he would make it.
Okay.
And we'll come back to break.
All right, John, hang on a second. 800. All right. Forgive me, I must be getting old. John in California, I forgot where we were at.
Hey, watch that old stuff, John.
I'm John. Okay.
Yeah. Up there.
Okay.
And for him, Larry Abraham disparaging things, to me is not surprising because he was always jealous and had a very large ego.
Okay.
And Gary Allen was one of the finest people I've ever known.
Okay.
And I've known lots of people, and Larry Abraham was not.
I couldn't believe when he made those comments because he also caught the talk show host completely flat-footed, and it was just something completely unexpected. Anyway,
who was the host?
The guy's a local guy here. His name is Kevin Shannon Brearley, and he was for years. He's an old-time member of the John Birch Society, and he started a spin-off called the Welch Foundation out here in Southern California.
Huh.
And so, but he had.
In what city?
I'm sorry.
What city?
In what city?
Oh, he was broadcasting from several different stations. One was KCAA. I believe that's in San Bernardino. And it's the Inland Empire generally,
right.
and KSPA, KSBA, something like that.
Well, John, I appreciate that tidbit of information there.
Okay, well, I think I'm trying to get it straight with Bob, and he seems to be the obviously. So,
okay.
Stop your help, Bob. Thank you, John.
Oh, you're welcome,
You're welcome.
We are in the middle of the pledge drive for Network. Scott in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan, has just made a donor challenge. He will donate $1,000 to the cause if we have a person that will match that $1,000. So Scott in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. I know Bloomfield Hills rather well. Farmington Hills, Livonia, Detroit, that whole area up there. I'm sorry that the man isn't, because it looks like Dresden now. It's getting pretty bad. pretty bad. A lot of for sale signs in Bloomfield Hills, Michigan. Deanne in Michigan. Hello, Deanne.
Hello,
Hi.
John. It's
Hi.
Diane.
Diane
in K-Pac, Michigan.
K-Pac, okay.
Yep, just north of Detroit. Robbie and Bob, great show. Thank you, Bob, for all that you've done in your newsletter. And I want to call you the Three Amigos or Three Stooges. What I was calling you to bring in astrological terms to the Earth in regards to the millions, billions, trillions